Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, the 28th of May, 2022, and I just realized that I have some dip in my mouth, but it is what it is. um, yeah, so yesterday was an interesting day. Um, I had just made a comment on some celebrities page because it just came on my feed about, again, just people that are so ignorant on the topic of guns and mental health issues. Was again advocating for gun control and stuff like that too. So like my comment was just along the lines of how like what you resist persists, right? And this has been like examples throughout history. Um, like again when like with the prohibition of alcohol and how they created more alcoholics and more issues and more people started consuming alcohol again to rebel. And same thing with LSD, same thing with acid, same thing with cannabis, same thing with so many different things, right? And that's just for some reason, and again this is throughout history, so it's like it's not even negotiable now too. So like I guess as a comment back was about mental health and how like I don't and how I don't maybe I don't know enough about mental health like he does, right? Again, a celebrity who is so far removed from reality, or maybe not, maybe just playing a script, actually likely, and then just like not thinking about it really too, because again like I was diagnosed with complex PTSD in like 2008, and I do have like a lot of trauma that I've experienced in my life, right? And so like I've been to war, I've been like things that have been done to me again by virtue of being the first female infantry officer in the history of the PPCLI, the regiment that I was in, and then yeah, just and then again being in the special forces and like business owner in a field where it's predominantly males and stuff like that too, and just like what comes with that. Again, being stalked, being harassed at the lower levels, and having to move all these things, and so, and reading books by people like Pete Walker, who's a doctor on complex PTSD, and again, this is like these are heavy volume clinical books. And again, I've read the DSM-5. I take cognitive sciences, and and again life experience, and then also the educational background too, to speak on mental health first of all, and again part of OSIS, operational stress injury social support, and I've been doing this for years, like over a decade, or maybe around a decade, I don't even know, but and again I've been in this sort of capacity to try to assist others when they're struggling, and I have literally had to take people to get help by professional people, just because it was like just like it was beyond my level or my capability at the time too. But I've taken weapons off of people as well, because again like I teach firearms, by the way, safety firearms, and I'm an advanced firearms instructor, and again I was in the infantry, I was in the special forces, teaching this to like multiple levels of government, and again I loved shooting on my own personal time as well. And so yeah, and so like I think I know a little bit more about guns and human behavior, being that I was a leader too, for many years, and again this is like thousands of people, again because again I was the battle group embarkation officer for again as a secondary task, and again the management of thousands of people moving to and from all over the world, to and from Kandahar, and then through that into the forward operating bases and beyond. And so, and this is personnel, equipment, like and all that other stuff too. So I think I have a little bit more experience to talk about this stuff than Matthew Cook, who was the one that that even commented back, because I like even his comment back was just so scripted, and it's so nonsensical to me. And again, it's just a default one that they do, right? And so I was just like, you know what, this is beyond it's just it's useless, it's pointless, it's talking to a freaking wall, like that's literally what it is. I'm venting again, I'm sorry. Like my last video was super salty, and so so family members told me that. Sorry, I'm sorry for it. Just yesterday was again a frustrating day, because it just seems like we're getting pushed into this like mentally and physically and emotionally abusive narrative. And this is like all levels. Again, it's our government, our like again cabinet members, like expert panels, like nurses, doctors, lawyers, scientists, celebrities, and you name it, and they're all like, again, like they're all connected, and they all hang out with the same people and do the same weird things, and people are not paying attention to it. So even like the Aquaman guy, whatever his name is, there's even videos and footage of him, like, and this is like in public, so like on a concert stage, groping or trying to grope a child. She was probably about 13 years old, and she was visibly upset and like moved it, and then he like left it go, and then like whatever. But and this is like small scale. This is just the minor stuff that I can say on here. But again, and this is stuff that's already out there and has been for many years. And it's just really, really frustrating. And that's why when I say when people are celebrating them and watching the Oscars and the Grammys and voting for these people in, or promoting them, or listening and believing them, it's frustrating, because like when throughout history have these people ever made decisions that that helped us? And I've shared again some of the stories coming, or the lectures, whatever you want to call it, coming out of Davos for the people that are speaking there, and they are literally saying it. And I'm sharing this. This is not doctored or edited. That's why they don't want us going there and sharing this information and spreading it out there, because then again, it doesn't help them, right? Because like the more we are all like stuck into our own like little roles, like all over the country, sorry, all over the world, and like lie about the world. And again, it's because like the people think that there's power and prestige in these secrets, because they think that it makes them better. And again, this is like the whole ego thing too. So like people that keep secrets that actually harm other people, and at a large scale, because it makes you like I don't know, like enjoy like this limited time you have on Earth, then you're just not helping. And it's kind of like that ant movie, you know, like it takes like one ant to stand up, and then like a few others will, and then the whole group does. And like I'm saying like standing up for our rights, but like again in a peaceful way, because there is some type of a creator, and they're trying to remove that from our narrative as well, and not allowing us to explore even our own bodies and see why that would make more sense. And again, even in nature with how it's inherently designed, like sacred geometry, there's no coincidences to a lot of things. And again, this is information that has been rediscovered and wiped away and things like that. But and I talk about how people kind of like integrate themselves into other areas, regions, locations, whatever you want to call it, and then take over in a way. And they've always done it the same way, and they just call it a different word, right? So whether it be genocide or war or pandemic, or you know, whatever you want to call it. Oh, no, I won't even say that. But even pilgrimages and stuff like that too, right? Just to varying degrees are like feeding into this narrative. But they come in and they bring in theirs, or the people that they want. Again, I don't mean theirs as in like the people like of their skin tone or any of that stuff. So I want to be clear on that. When I say theirs, I mean like their elite groups, their friends and their family, because they don't care about the rest of us. And again, we are like that to varying degrees too, right? Like we're more defensive and protective of our own families and friends than we are. And we have like more care and concern than we do of other people. So like the more far removed you are from someone on an intimate level, I guess I would say, that is where there's more of this trend to possibly like have like this like chaos and experience the things that we do. But and this is why with this whole pandemic treaty too, like I personally have seen what has gone on in many different countries, and it's not something that I cried a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It's some stuff that's really heavy to even watch. Again, like these videos, but then again, it's just like being ignorant is not an excuse, and like we really do need to be paying attention to the things that really are causing a lot of harm in the world right now and causing a lot of damage. And like we're not paying attention because we're so distracted with the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. But again, like it's a joke, right? They're all part of the same group. Like even Elon Musk dated Amber a couple of years ago. and she wears like the outfit that he wore like one day, she'll wear it the next day, and again, it's a joke, and you can decipher it however you want, like CTV and CNN call it, you know, like, oh, she's just like playing with him or whatever, like, oh my god, like just like puppets on a string. But no, and again, they have like that whole like beehive, like that bee thing that on their outfits. There's symbology to all of this. A lot of things they're doing and saying, and then again, they're both lying on the stands too. And she actually literally did like do like the whatever her nose, like maybe she was faking putting whatever in her nose, but still, it's just like a mockery of the court is what it really is, and a lot of people do that, and it's because they don't care, because it's maritime law. The whole walking the plank thing too, which is why it's ironic that it's the Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack, by the way, Jack, symbology in that too, Sparrow, that name too. Oh my god, and this whole hypersexualized transhuman Peter Pan ideology that's also reinforced in the movie. But anyways, it is what it is. But that's why I don't know if they're actually like just like raised because of the age group of these people, with like the subtle brainwashing with the propaganda that was going on in the like Rainbow Bright and Starlight and Transformers and Ninja Turtles and so many other cartoons, My Little Pony. Oh yeah, and like so many others. But again, like just the way they kind of like created the narrative, and then just seeing the impact and the trends that went within like the following decade or two, or like the following generation, and then that generation, how it was even more indoctrinated, I guess, and more edgy, and like even more shocking or whatever, because again, that's what elicits emotional responses in people in order to maintain viewership and all that other stuff. And again, these were also only created for advertisements for Charlie's Chocolate Factory for chocolate. Willy Wonka too. There's no there's irony in Jack or Johnny Depp, whatever his name is, being in that one movie as well. And again, do they know this, and playing into this, and then just like just trying to like fool us all and like think that it's cool because we're all buying it, or not? I don't know, because I'd like to think that people are inherently good. But again, like when I see videos of these actors that are still like super famous, and I've seen even what has been shown, like what they do in public, because again, this is why I'm saying they're making mistakes, because they're becoming more bold and cocky because they've been getting away with it for so many generations that it's just mind-blowing. Yeah. So, but yeah, killing pets because they have COVID or possibly could and stuff like that in front of people, and if they were to like fight back or try to take their dogs and run, like they would get shot and or like imprisoned and beat up, because again, we've seen these too, or taken into or like again like locked up in apartment complexes. And there's been multiple videos shared on mainstream media now too, just because it's just been such an extreme thing, but unreleased to the public, but people jumping out of their own apartment complexes because and screaming, going insane, because again, isolation does that to people, confinement does that to people, not having access to food and water, or even fresh food and water, or yeah, like that's human suffering and not required, and people enforcing these rules that keep people in these places. And then again, also having this mental prism as well, where you think that you are so powerless in the situation. But again, it's a lot of just the narrative is just so like it's again, like even before birth, because this is generational. And the elitists, again, what do you want to call them at Davos? Like, again, literally this week, saying things like how much they profited off of COVID, and how like even scientists and doctors and stuff like that, like they work for the elitists, and they use this word. That's why I say elitists, because they call themselves the elite. They literally say elite, like that guy that wrote Homo Deus and Sapiens, which are ridiculous books. Like it's like that's misinformation. You want to talk about misinformation? And again, anyway, it just it's frustrating, because we're supposed to rely and trust people, right? But like anyone can write a book and publish it if they know the people that are part of the publishing companies, and they tell you to write the book and what to write and how to write it. and what to say. But there's just too many questions again out there. Again, even regarding what the government websites have said about um, curvatures of the Earth, and like there's just like so many different things, right? Like that need to be re-examined and questioned, and look back to ancient texts and cultural kind of like designs patterns that they used on various tapestries and paintings and murals and whatever, and then just really like just really take a look at everything, like the details of like what it looks like, and don't just associate with what it looks like now, or don't put your predisposed stereotypes that have been ingrained in you and me to filter your lens in a way that you're not seeing what's actually there too. Because even looking at the Oxford Dictionary and like the photos of the stuff, the pictures and stuff like that from ancient temples and ruins and buildings and monuments and libraries and stuff like that, it's very interesting. And again, oh yeah, sorry, the whole cheating thing, liars and cheaters. Like what do and people that go to other areas and ruin things. Yeah, they wipe away the evidence, right? And so like that's just like cheaters, right? Like what do they do? Like how do you catch a cheater, right? You just like look at the deleted messages. Like people, and then even with Hillary Clinton with all those emails, right? Like, and they do it so blatantly. Fires are started, buildings collapse, things go down, things like floods happen. So many different things to hide information. And then even when laptops are recovered by certain agencies like the FBI and the CIA and stuff like that too, like there's cover-ups there as well. And when people try to leak information out, they usually go missing, like I've said before, and this is a reality, unfortunately. Yeah, like it's just like there's so many interesting things like that we're still enabling, like human trafficking, which is really prevalent still in like even in Ottawa and Montreal area, just as a prime example, because it's like, again, I'm in Ottawa. And yeah, it's just frustrating. But it like has led me down like different journeys too. So like I'm looking at prisms and crystal balls, and I'm trying to do light refraction stuff, or like different surfaces, and like look at rainbows and try to duplicate like the sun and stuff like that too with this as well, and finding interesting things regarding that. I have questions. Yeah, like I'm wearing like temporary veneers or whatever you want to call it right now, just because I chipped tooth. And that's why I actually also had to come back to Ottawa when I was on a road trip to the Yukon. I was going to head out more and explore more north, but I have to fix this first, and then and so I decided to make all of my front teeth look cute. So it's pretty exciting. I'm gonna have really nice, cute veneers, hopefully within the next week or so. So anyway, yeah, not like you're gonna get any cuter than that. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it definitely makes me like more awkward to speak on a video. Where's it go with all this? Oh yeah, like this whole, like there's a lot more information coming out on like this whole like flat earth theory stuff. And that's why I wanted to go to like the North Pole and like so many other areas in Alaska. But like now, like it's more like the Canadian North is where I think it would be the most interesting place to go, or what we consider to be north, which might be west, and east might be up. Because again, I'm looking at all these like ancient texts and like and terminology, and I've taken linguistics courses at Carleton University and psycholinguistics, and so like I've learned more, I guess, about languages and where they derive from than most people, clearly. And again, speaking, je parle français aussi, donc si tu veux que des choses ou des vidéos en français, je peux aussi. But there's also, il y a des différences entre nous autres qui parlent français en Québec puis le monde en France. The people that speak a little bit more, there's subtle differences again to so many different dialects, even of like the same language, but it's very interesting. where was it going with that? Oh yeah, like linguistics is very interesting because some languages don't have vowels, some do. Some languages are like literally just flips of others. um, yeah, it's so strange. And then again, like it's opposite. Like some people like read again like this way, and some people read that way. Yeah, I'm sure people read down and some people read up. Like, but yeah, like the more I'm looking at like the more ancient, I guess, his story or history, whatever you want to call it, the more like I have questions because like things are just like, when you see like it's almost like an optical illusion, like when you see like the color yellow, for example, if you're not colorblind, or red if you're not colorblind. So I guess this is only for people that can see these colors. But anyways, they do see various shades and are able to. Anyway, so you see red, the color red, but like let's say it says like the word blue on it. How like that confuses us, right? So like, would you call it? Would you like what would be your immediate reaction? Like, would you, if someone said like, what color is this? Would you say it's blue or would you say it's red? Like, what's your immediate response to that? And just and that's interesting as well. Because yeah, these are just mind tricks. And just very interesting. But yeah, even just reflections are very interesting as well too, because again, so many ancient civilizations, they talk about like a plasma freaking volcano thing on Mount Mu or whatever you want to call it, and then apparently like like volcanoes that like where there's rainbows that come out, which is super cool. But again, like I have like this is all just crazy theories that I've been looking into more and more. And then like extraterrestrials, like this is territory that we have here. And then so if we're inner terrestrials, and there's like more land outside of like the land or the territories that we're in, and there's like this movement in and out, then I guess they would call us inner terrestrials, and we would call them extraterrestrials. And it's like maybe that's why there's all this confusion with aliens as well. And so again, this is like, why does my brain go to these places? I have no idea. But yeah, like I just have like a lot of questions, and why is there so much government intervention in different areas? But maybe it's because we're being contained here as slaves for people that like to play with us, because it's fun and we're not doing anything about it. And again, like maybe we're all just like, again, this experiment regarding human behavior or species behavior. Yeah, it would be all of us, because it's like how do the other species respond and react to like even our presence and stuff like that too. And again, a lot of animals are being moved away from like their natural environments because of dams and because of us like irrigating places and moving water out of their natural states. And again, this is where there's been generations and generations of animals that had like so much of a surplus of like so many different like resources, and this has all been dried up and taken away, and they're in smaller and smaller areas and like muddy, swampy water. And of course that makes them go back to their lower base emotions, which is irritability and attacking each other more and fighting for resources and so many different things. And like there's like a lack of cooperation only because they're all like living in survival mode. And so maybe we're not giving animals enough credit for how they're responding to just the shitty stuff that we do. And this is where I talk about like doing better and being more mindful of infrastructure and designs and stuff like that we make for communities, because like even in ancient past, there seems to be some type of a correlation with water sources, power grids, generators, sacred geometry, and different interpretations of the sacred geometry too, or different interpretations or different ways of describing the same thing. Because again, like the whole like star-based things with the 5 sides, or whatever you want to call it, this could be snowflakes, it could be lotus, which is again tied to opium, and again these like spiritual experiences that apparently like assist with accessing higher levels of awareness. There's so many different correlations too to mushrooms, the psilocybin type and the other types. And just interesting how like there's so many people that hate mushrooms these days, and there's so much like narrative and script regarding how like mushrooms don't belong on pizzas, for example. And again, I know so many people that don't like mushrooms, and it's just really interesting to me when there's so many species out there where where there's mushrooms that grow, like they all like that's what they go for. Yeah, just very interesting. But yeah, and again, just like structures that are way older than we're being led to believe. And again, these are all by these like cheaters, like I was saying, these liars that like cover things up. But past behavior is a good indicator of future behavior and present behavior and all that other stuff. And what do? We can head east, which is apparently up, and try to like get out of the firmament or whatever this is. And again, this is all just like crazy terminology for how people describe whatever our atmosphere is, or this thing above us. That again, where there's possibly light refraction happening, or whatever you want to call it, which is causing certain things. It's just crazy theories. Crazy girl. Anyway, tangents about mushrooms. Oh yeah, like even in Christianity, Islam, religion, Judaism, Rosicrucianism, Luciferianism, Satanism, Freemasonry. Yeah, there's just so many ties to where like even stars, not stars, but like the crosses, or like those again, like other things in other places like Egypt. And then even like the halo on the Jesus figure and stuff like that, and again even correlations to like the mushroom sprouting, like the top part coming out and like that being the female part, like the breast, and like the bottom part being like the male part, and like when it comes out there's that sheath or whatever you want to call it on the exterior, and the top part of the mushroom is called an eve, and anyway, and there's just like so many different ways of describing things and showing us things in plain sight and hidden symbology and stuff like that too. And again, maybe this is just stuff that's been like designed or done and like implemented and created to make it look like much older than what it is, and maybe only like recently created in the last 100 years, and we're just not paying attention. Because again, like there's been so many libraries too that have been like completely destroyed and wiped away, and different like again, when people are living in austere conditions because they've been forced out of their communities or environments that were more suitable. And again, when you're starting from scratch always, like I can confirm, like when I was on Naked and Afraid, this is my home. But like in how I survive here and how I live here is drastically different than how I was surviving again when I was in Montserrat or South Africa, or like even in Canada too, and in the US, and so many other places I've gone in the world where I've done like backpacking and hiking and rock climbing and stuff like that as well. So anyway, yeah, and it just so I guess like more exploration is possibly needed, like less trying to find ways to differentiate ourselves from each other, which is causing more harm than good. Because again, they're supposed to be like you can only access your higher levels of awareness and consciousness. Again, like these ones, I'm talking about like empathy and cooperation and